Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all are fine at your home. Welcome you all in FSEX online support program. Today we are going to discuss OSP round 3, week 15, literature, textbook, The Secret Garden, page number 4 to 20 for a quick recap of the previous chapters 1 to 5. And page 22 to 23 for the new chapter 6. Lesson or topic reading and discussion. Resources required textbook, stationery, internet, laptop, computer. Introduction or summary of the lesson. Recap important events of chapter 1 to 5. Reading of chapter 6. Understand the meaning of difficult words. Discuss important happenings in chapter 6. Let's see what is thought of the day. It is very easy to defeat someone, but it is very hard to win someone. It means that it is very easy to bring someone down, betray their trust, argue with them, lose your respect in minutes, but it's very hard to be able to gain respect in someone's eyes, gain someone's trust, be honest them. Let's see what are today's objectives. Students will be able to recap important events of chapter 1 to 5, reading of chapter 6, understand the meaning of difficult words, discuss important happenings in chapter 6. So, first take a quick recap of chapter 1 to 5. What are important events? At the beginning of the story, Mary Lennox lives in India with her parents, but they have no time for her. Servants look after her. Her parents were killed due to epidemic cholera disease. Mary Lennox was a bad-tempered 9 years old and a spoiled little girl. She moves toward Yorkshire in London to live with her uncle, Mr. Archibald Craven at Misselthwaite Manor. Mr. Craven locked most of the rooms after the death of his wife. Mary became close to the maidservant Martha Sorby. She told Mary about the secret garden. Mary's uncle locked his garden when he lost his wife. But Mary becomes very curious about it. She begins walking in the garden every day and meets Ben Wither's staff, the gardener, and the Martha's little brother Dickon. One day, a robin helps Mary find the key to the secret garden. With the help of Dickon, she begins working in it every day. The daily exercise, her relationship with the robin and Dickon, and her connection with the flowers and plants all help transform Mary into a healthier and better person. One night, Mary hears some cries coming from a room in the manor. Although Mrs. Medlock, the housekeeper, has forbidden her to investigate, Mary goes to see, and in one of the rooms she discovers Colin Craven, her uncle's son. He is ill and stays in bed all the time because he cannot walk. Mr. Craven stays away because when he looks at his son, he thinks about his late wife and it makes him sad. Let's see The Secret Garden, Chapter 6, Exploring the House. Now we have to understand Chapter 6. It rained all week. Mary couldn't go to the garden or see Dickon, but she spent every day in Colin's room. You broke the rules, but Master Colin likes you, said Mrs. Medlock. He doesn't cry so much, and now he is feeling better. Mary liked Colin, but she was careful not to tell him about the garden. He isn't, Dickon, she thought. Can he keep my cigarette? On the first sunny day, Mary woke up very early. She put on her clothes quickly and ran to the secret garden. Dickon was already there with his friends, a little fox and a blackbird. Oh, good morning, Dickon, she said happily. I'm so happy you're here. Dickon smiled. This little fox is Captain, he said, and the blackbird's name is Soot. That's nice. I've got news for you, too. I found my cousin Colin. Did you know about him? Yes, I'm sorry, but Martha and I couldn't tell you, answered Dickon. Is he very ill? Look at this boy. Who is that boy? Dickon. And who is that bird? Reuben. He forgets about it with me, she said. The poor boy is always in bed. Maybe we could bring him out here to the garden, said Dickon. That's a good idea. She smiled. He would like to see a secret garden. The two children had lots of work in the garden, and Mary didn't go to Colin's room at midday. In the evening, she found him very angry. Why didn't you come? He asked her. I was waiting for you. Now my back and my head hurt. I was working in the garden with Dickon, she answered. I will send Dickon away if you spend more time with him, Colin said angrily. Mary got angry too. If you do that, I will never come to see this room again. You will have to if I want you to, he said. I won't, she cried. You're selfish. No, I'm not, he said. I'm ill and I'm going to die. You're not, she said. You just want people to be sorry for you. Get out, he shouted and threw his pillow at her. I'm going and I'm not coming back, she shouted. I won't tell you about the garden, or Dickon, or his idea. That night, Colin's crying and screaming woke everybody up. It was awful. The nurse came running to Mary. Please come quickly, Miss Mary. We can't do anything, but maybe you can. Mary was still angry with Colin. She ran to his room and shouted at him, Stop! You must stop, or we will all leave the house and you will be all alone. I can't stop, he cried. I'm ill and I will die. No, you won't, she shouted. You're always saying that, but it's not true. Colin stopped crying and looked at her. Do you really think I will live and grow up? Yes, she answered. If you go outside, you will get strong. Colin took her hand. I shall go out with you, he said quietly. Can you please stay and talk to me until I go to sleep? Mrs. Medlock, Martha, and Nurse stood there with open mouths. Colin never said, Please. Have you seen in this picture? Who is lying on the bed? Colin Craven. And who is that girl? Mary Lennox. Now, let's see what is vocabulary of chapter 6. First word is screaming. Giving a long, loud, piercing cry or cries expressing extreme emotion. Have you seen in this picture? Next word is selfish. This person is looking selfish. What does it mean? Lacking consideration for other people. What does it mean? If you have no interest with other people's needs, it means you are selfish. Next word is pillow. A bag filled with soft material that is used as a cushion. Next word is awful. Have you seen in this picture? The boy is looking awful, very bad or unpleasant. Next word is angrily. Look at this picture. The boy is looking angrily. What does it mean? In a manner having a strong feeling against someone who has behaved badly. Now, important happenings in the story of chapter 6. Mary did not go to the garden to see Dickon due to rain all week. Mary spent every day in Colin's room, but she didn't tell him about the secret garden. On sunny day, Mary went into the garden to see Dickon and told him about her cousin Colin Crelan, who found ill on the bed. When Mary went to Colin's room, he was in angry mood and he felt disappointed due to his illness. Colin is ill-tempered and demanding boy and he is very rude to people around him. That night Colin was screaming and made everybody awake. The nurse called Mary. Mary went into his room and asked Colin to stop crying. She asked Colin to visit to the garden so that he could become healthy and strong. Now, recap of chapter 6. Next morning, Mary told Martha about Colin and Martha felt very upset. But Colin wanted to see Mary and she went again in his room. Colin was sad again because he didn't want to die and he had a tantrum. What is the meaning of tantrum? A disruptive behavior or emotional outburst. This behavior is mostly occurring in younger children who cannot express it. Then she left the room angrily. Later, when she remembered how lonely was Colin, she decided to go and see him the next day. During the night, Colin shouted and cried, so Mary ran in his room to stop the terrible noise. What is the moral value of the day? Positive thinking is about believing and expecting the best in any situation. It means you always think positive. So, you will be successful in your life. Thank you, class. Have a nice day. Goodbye.